them. And Russia kept saying, just be a neutral country, stop trying to join NATO. And Ukraine kept trying to join them, so Russia said, look, they didn't want an enemy on its doorsteps. And so Putin's fear is, let's imagine Ukraine is a NATO member and starts these military operations. In Putin's eyes, the West promised back in 1990 that NATO would not expand an inch to the east, but they did so anyways. And as I understand, Putin has been maybe ideological in his approach, in which it seems like he's trying to protect Russian culture, peoples, and values, even those people within Ukraine. And so parts of Ukraine, especially those on the eastern side, have actually wanted to belong into Russia, and they support Russia, like the territory of Crimea, voluntarily escaped from Ukraine and separated, becoming a part of Russia, annexed in 2014. And there's these other territories on the eastern side that also are trying to do the same thing. And so as Putin states, Ukraine is not just a neighboring country for us, it is an inalienable part of our own history, culture, and spiritual space. Since time immemorial, the people living in the southwest of what has historically been Russian land have called themselves Russians. What we now call Ukraine, he says, was entirely created by Russia. It is intolerable to Putin because the Ukrainian government seeks to legitimate itself by creating conflict with Russia, both oppressing its native Russian speakers and menacing Russia's borders. And so in his view, the collapse of the Soviet Union was a major political disaster with tens of millions of their citizens now outside of Russian territory. So that's their view. But what's going on with Ukraine? Well, Putin has called for Ukraine to just surrender. Nobody has to die, right? No one has to die at all. Just surrender. That's it. No blood needs to be shed here. Nobody has to die. You know, as they say, an argument requires two sides in order to start an argument. However, Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, has forced its own citizens to fight, right? They say that any man aged 18 to 60 cannot leave the country. You have to stay and fight. Why? Because the number one target is Zelensky himself, so he's throwing his own sheep to the slaughter in order to protect himself. If he were to just give himself up, maybe they could stop the conflict.